What was it?
You said. I have no comment.
I said too many bad blowjobs.
Too many bad blowjobs.
Still high school joke.
All right, we're in 5, 4, 3.
Well, hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another stupendous episode of Comic Book Geeks.
We got a lot of great guests for you tonight. This is going to be a special, very special Comic Book Geeks.
Everyone is special. They're like, I don't know.
Tell them.
They're like Cheerios. I mean, everyone is different. Everyone's special. And there's just so many in the box. You know what I mean? But one thing's for damn sure. We are crazy about comics.
Comic book geek. I never set limits on what man can achieve, so they call me a comic book geek. I love and beauty and what philosophers say, but I'm a comic book geek. Don't call me a loser, 'cause I'm a comic book geek. 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 I wanna live in a world of adventure. I wanna have the seas of immortality. I want to move across the limits of imagine past the limits of believe that we can be beyond the limits of human. That's why they call me a geek. Oh, well, a comic book geek. I love a comic book geek. Well, I'm a comic book geek. Well, I'm a comic book geek. Geek, 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 geek. Well, I'm a comic book geek.
Okay, and then our introduction. We got a cartoon introduction. It's really good.
And then we come back, and we're like,
Are we back?
we're back. First up.
Did you say that?
Yeah. Hello. All right, you ready? Let me wipe this man's face. All right. Tired of this shit. All right, you ready? Okay. Well, hello, boys and girls. Look what you stumbled on now, right on your public access channel. Say something.
Hi, boys and girls.
Hi,
Tell them about
you
the
sound
show.
like you're outside of the schoolyard, like waiting to. You have some candy there?
Tell them about the show.
Well, tonight we have.
Okay.
What?
First
up.
Our special guest is Wolverine from the X-Men.
Wolverine.
Oh my God! No! Wait a second. Okay.
Respect Knuckles.
Sorry, I'll put him away for you.
Right on.
There you go.
Ja.
Respect Knuckles. Okay.
How's it going, Wolvie?
It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
This is a friend of mine, Steve Romo. He portrays Wolverine in comic conventions and TV appearances and a lot of things. He looks just like Wolverine. He's short, he's husky, he's got a lot of hair on his chest.
He smells like Wolverine too.
He smells like Wolverine. He likes to drink beer. And
happens.
I've seen him at comic conventions like San Diego Comic Convention. He can't walk 5 feet without people taking pictures of him. He's very popular at comic conventions. Steve, how long have you been doing this? I'm sorry, I should call him Wolverine.
Yeah, we call him Logan.
Logan, how long have you been?
I've been doing this for about maybe going on 8 years. So I come out with a new costume every year. So
Which version is this?
You know what? This is from a comic back in I think 2003. Can't remember the artist.
What gave you the idea to do this?
Ever since that movie X-Men came out, the first one, I liked the way Hugh Jackman did his hair, and I did my hair like that. And ever since then, kids are spotting me out because a couple times I didn't shave, and then they say, "Hey, that guy looks like Wolverine." And then people told me, "Hey, you should work for a haunted house," and I worked in there, and I got my motorcycle outfit. I made it look like the movie, and then ever since then, I started meeting people. They said, "Hey, you should try out Comic-Con over there in San Diego."
Cool, man.
And I come out with a new costume every year because, they're not that hard to make if you put your mind to it. But other than that, I try to copy everything from the comic cartoon. version, not the movie, because I try to keep the comic.
Keep it real to the comic
Yeah,
book.
to the comic book.
Awesome.
Do you do things like birthdays?
You know what? I just pretty much just started doing birthdays because I do. You know, right now I do construction, but right now the field of construction's down. So now I'm doing pretty much impersonations for all the fans and birthdays and masquerade parties, stuff like that, and then conventions and even free comic book day. People hire me for that. I hit like 3 of them.
I hear you worked at Jeffrey's Comics in Gardena.
Yeah, I worked. I was there. I was there for like 4 hours.
Stores.
4 hours. I hung out there for a while.
Probably
Had a
the
lot of
country.
fans.
Yeah.
Signed a lot of autographs.
I heard they had an Iron Man in a box out on the street too.
Yeah. He had a lot of horns honking at him.
Well, what was the biggest thing you've done then as Wolverine?
Mark Hamill did Comic Book the movie, and I was on there. I was waving to kids. I had no clue he was Mark Hamill because he had a goatee and everything. So he used to Luke Skywalker look because grew up with Star Wars. So that's the first time I was ever hit film. And then after that, G4 used to be Tech Television. Their G4, they interviewed me at my house. You know, pretty much. They interviewed me there. She's seen all my stuff in my garage, and
Did they find you at Comic-Con, or where they?
You know what? They were tracking me down for 3 years before they interviewed me back in 2004. So then after that, I was, they filmed me at home, and then a few months later, I let them know I got a divorce. They taped me as a blind date.
Awesome.
So
Divorce didn't have anything to do with you being Wolverine.
Yeah, Wolverine pretty much got me divorced, but
Oh, really?
you know,
Serious?
yeah.
What happened?
Why?
She didn't like my hair.
likes
She wanted,
Cyclops,
she
or-
wanted you to be Spider-Man? Oh,
No.
wait a second.
No, she just didn't like the fact that I was him 24/7. I
Oh,
was always
so
at the
you're
gym.
not, you don't take this off when you get home. You're,
Nah, everything stays.
you
Well,
keep
the
the boots
clothes
on
come
all night
off,
long?
yeah, of course. But the sideburns, I just trim them down or grow them out. It depends exactly what costume I'm making up next. You know, I made Weapon X. I grew it all out for Weapon X. It was out of control. So Weapon X and all the Barry packs, he was hairy. And that right after that, pretty much my marriage went downhill
She's
because
not a big fan of the Weapon X storyline. apparently.
yeah,
She didn't like the claw marks on her back.
she didn't like that. She didn't like my back scratcher
Okay,
technique.
tell us about that dating show again.
Which one? It was. You know what? It was just an interview. This one chick, I forgot her name. She was she did Poison Ivy. She made her own costume. But we went out there. We had a little dinner together, and it was pretty fun. They interviewed us both. We had a good time. We ate. I accidentally burned her mouth with some chicken. You know, I stabbed it with my blades and burned her mouth, and they had to do a
Nice.
retake. But other than that, it was pretty fun. We became friends, but it wasn't like, love at first sight. It was pretty much,
They don't pay you for that.
huh?
They don't pay you for that.
That was pretty much exposure.
You didn't get laid.
It was fun.
Did you
No,
get laid?
it was.
No?
She wasn't my
You
type
don't
of
want
cigar.
to, Poison Ivy, you could really get a bad itch off of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't want to catch any kind of food poisoning from
Yeah,
that. or
well,
anything.
when you touch Poison Ivy, there's rashes and there's all sorts of bad things that can happen. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm into redheads.
She is a
Yeah.
redhead. So you're like into the Jean Grey. So you've you've become Wolverine, haven't you?
Yeah, he destroyed my
So
marriage.
once your wife was gone, that was like the last thing in the way to total transformation.
Yeah, everything changed. But you know what? It's for the better. You find out later on that she wasn't meant to be. But other than that,
Yeah.
Wolverine. I try to keep the fans happy. And
Yeah.
like on my MySpace, it pretty much, she's out there. I'll find her. She's probably in Japan.
Oh, like
She'll
Mariko.
find me. Yeah, she'll find
or
me.
Yukio. Because I read Wolverine comics, obviously.
Yeah.
So there might be 2 of them waiting for you in Japan.
Yeah.
Just gotta-
Oh yeah, I'll be
And then-
Mormon.
Hey, I'm about to make a good joke. There's the whole when Wolverine can't get lucky, there's always the hand. You know what I mean? You caught the hand in Wolverine.
Oh, good.
We're a little dry tonight,
Explain
folks.
that.
Don't worry, it'll moisten up later.
But the guys who play, like the guy who plays Superman and the lady who plays Wonder Woman and everything, they've been guests before, and they do their show out in front of Groma's Chinese, and Chris says he makes like $500 someday.
You know what?
Wouldn't that be better than construction? If
You
you
know
want
what?
to make this
I'd go
a
out
career,
there on the boulevard.
I mean, you probably should do something like the Groman's Chinese. Construction is just going to get in your way, but I know it pays really well.
Yeah,
But
it did.
it's, then that limits the time you can do appearances and things.
You know what? Appearances is fun. I get pleased by the smiles I bring the kids and the fans more than just
You're
getting
really good with
paid for it.
kids. You really are.
That's my reward.
Yeah.
You know.
So Tell us about your car.
You know what? My car, it's my mascot. I show up at the parties.
Yeah.
I don't show up at conventions because I have nowhere to park it unless I get a chance to, rent a spot inside the convention. But I show up at parties. I show up at the comic book days. I show up at the comic book stores.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my mascot. It just, it stands out like a sore thumb. Cops look at the car more than they look at me not wearing my seatbelt, which is cool. That's my mascot car.
Wow. I love that car. It's beautiful. It's got a big X right on the top, and I think it really looks nice. And next year, is it about next year that the Wolverine movie's coming out?
Oh man, it's gonna be so hot. You're gonna get so much tail when it
You
comes
should get a
out.
lot of business.
Oh, business too.
Get a lot of business. You'd be so gauche.
Yeah, hopefully it looks. I heard Hugh Jackman pretty much pumps up for that one. So, other than that, he's 6 feet tall. Wolverine's only 5 foot.
How tall
6
are you?
inches.
So you're actually a more accurate depiction, right?
Yeah,
Or
that's what-
Superman would call it deflection.
Oh, thanks.
Tell us about your claws.
What do you want to know?
Did you make them?
You know what? They're aluminum. I got 3 pairs. They're aluminum, and these are my lighter pair that line up to my tattoos. So it's pretty much
Sharp there.
yeah, they're sharp.
Yeah, they're pretty sharp. They are sharp.
Yeah, they're pretty sharp. I got another pair that's a mild steel. I wear with the Ultimate Wolverine outfit, and these are my Weapon X pair. And then I have a thinner pair for the comic, the yellow spandex. That's really, really thin for the comic.
So does that have a mask with it? The yellow spandex?
Yeah, I did. I just don't wear it because
It's hot.
it's hot, and then I don't need it. Why should I? Anybody can be Spider-Man. Anybody can be Batman with a mask,
So if somebody wanted to book you for a party or a blind date or whatever, how can they find you?
MySpace. They email me.
What
on my
is it?
email. It's Estevon Marinos at yahoo.com. And they can, chit chat with me, see all my costumes I can wear.
Is there a
And
phone number to contact you?
it's 951-306-2994. And if they want to give me a call, or they can listen. They can leave a voicemail for me. And
Can you will you talk to somebody in character as Wolverine if they call you?
every time I talk to them, a character. I mean, I'm a
cool.
character 24/7.
Well, I think that's probably about it. Can you play us out? Can you give us a couple Wolverine poses, the kind of thing that people like?
Yeah, I pretty much come out there and I do a pose, like when I go out there and the kids have a stand up right there. I open up like that and they get a pose.
Nice.
Or I just stand out there and I stick my blades in there, and I just get a little pose like a.
Man, that's good.
Oh, look at that face.
That's
Yeah.
from that first
That's
Wolverine
number one, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the most bizarre request you've ever had as Wolverine?
You know what? I got a few gigs that they want me to show up in my Weapon X outfit and see if I'm gonna do some stripping. And I'm like, you know what?
Are you
it's kinda-
serious?
Yeah, I'm like,
Did
that's,
Captain Greedy ask for that, or?
you know what? Yeah, it wasn't him. It was like a masquerade party, but they're getting kind of technical when it
Did you
comes
do
to
it?
that. No, I can't.
be good
Wolverine's
money,
not a
dude.
stripper. He'll sit there and drink beer with you, smoke
Yeah.
a cigar, but he won't take all his clothes
I
off.
like the way you
Stay
value
true to the
collector.
character.
I would
Yeah.
probably do it.
I would do
I
it.
won't humiliate him. But other than that, that's it.
That's cool, man. Well, dude, thanks for coming down. Where'd you come down from? Like Riverside, right?
Yeah, Riverside. That's where I'm.
I think you might be
I'm at.
Riverside's only superhero.
You know what? I'm getting known out there,
Yeah, I would imagine.
but
The South Bay has a plethora, of heroes, such as Captain Greedy and Wonder Boy. But it's nice that somebody's out there defending the little guy in Riverside.
yeah, I come to LA every once in a while.
Cool.
But
Awesome, man.
Anyway, Steve, thanks a lot.
hey, you're welcome.
Thanks, Wolby.
You're welcome.
Just kidding. Thanks,
See you guys
dude.
later.
Be good, kids. Stay off drugs.
Go to commercial.
This is not working, is it? You can say it, guys. Come on.
It's not working. Geoffrey's Comics is located at 15900 Crenshaw in Gardena, directly across from El Camino College. We have over 1,000 graphic novels. We have over 500 new comic titles. Our video section contains over 500 rare nostalgic DVDs, classic entertainment for all ages. This is our kids' comic section. We have a large toy selection. This is our statue section. Our older comics are all great investments. We have comic books as cheap as 4 for $1, going up over thousands of dollars. Our 30th year celebration on Saturday, November 15th from 12 to 8 p.m. will feature signings by comic celebrities, superhero character appearances for the kids, free comics, and giant discounts on almost everything. At Geoffrey's, the magic never stops. We live comics, we love comics, we are comics.
That's why they call me a geek. Oh, well, a comic book geek.
I was taking it to a higher level. He went to Africa.
We're
Can you hear me, Chris?
commercial.
We're back.
Yes.
We are back.
We're back in commercial. 5, 4, 3.
And you do the talking most of it.
And today we have a special guest. It's an old friend of mine, and he's a comic collector who collected Silver Age comics for a very specific time. What were the years you collected, Jim?
Probably 68, probably 67, 68. But my first collection was like in 63.
So you did it for about 5 years, and then that was it?
Yeah, I did it as a kid for a few years, and then later on it just, I stayed away for a while. Well, you know, your parents throw your comic books out, and then after that I went back collecting around 66 through 69.
And I would like to say, too,
You have some food on your
Jim,
mouth.
I have some food on my mouth.
Okay, go ahead.
Jim is probably the reason that I married my third wife, Monica, who's given me 3 children and who I love very much, because they both worked together at TRW, and he was a comic book collector, and she started collecting comics. She came into my store, and we fell in love, and it was a beautiful thing. And I probably have Jim to thank or to blame for that. Now, tell us about your first comic book.
Well, my first comic book was Superman Annual number 7, and it was the summer of 63. And I just happened to see it on the stand going into the drugstore, and it had a statue of Superman as a Oscar-looking shape, and it was silver, and it just looked like the Oscar. But I didn't know what an Oscar was. But that statue just caught my eye, and that's why I had to have the book. And then I found out it was a quarter. That kind of was driving me crazy because I could have bought 2 comics instead of 1.
Do you still have it?
No, I don't have, but I do have it. But it's not the original one that I bought as a kid.
Right. So do you collect older comics now, today? Like, do you buy older?
Not really.
No.
I kind of stopped.
Did you ever shop at Geoffrey's Comics in its
Yes.
heyday?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about those times. What, am I stealing
No,
the
its heyday is still right now.
What?
Jeffrey's Comics is
I mean, back when you were like
these are the best days for Jeffrey's Comics.
these are the salad years, I think. But no, back when you were younger and
But
yes.
Jim actually knows a lot of comic vendor stories, and the comic vendor is a local legend around the South Bay because he has been in business longer than any comic book store around here. Nick Scotto runs it, and he still does some wholesaling, but he was around when there were no other comic stores, you know. As a matter of fact, Jim was a customer of his. Nick says he's been in business 50 years, and he counts times when he was like selling to the local kids in his garage and thing, and then he did something at the Rhodium Drive-In, right? The
Right.
swap meet?
He did the swap meets back in '67. And that's when I ran into Nick. I just happened to go in the swap meet with a couple of my friends from junior high, and we just walked around. I saw this guy selling comic books out of these cardboard boxes. And oh, this is kind of neat. And I just was rumbling through, and I saw all these old comic books. There was no price guide yet, so everything was like either a dime or 30 cents or 50 cents, and you just go rifle through whatever you wanted, and there they were. And then the gentleman came up to me, and he asked his name. His name was Nick, and I said, are you here all the time, every Saturday and Sunday? He goes, yes. So I used to come back. So I came back like 3 or 4 times to the Rhodium to buy these books. And then later on, he started opening a store that was off Arlington and Sepulveda. And that was his first shop.
Mm-hmm.
So he gave me directions, and I was living in Hawthorne at the time, and I'd ride my bike down maybe Hawthorne Boulevard. No, I'd ride down Prairie and go down until I hit Sepulveda, until I hit Arlington. And then when I went into Arlington, you just go down like a hill. Arlington went down like this, and then there was like a dirt road, and then you just have these little brand new shops like mini malls, brand new.
Mm-hmm.
He was the only one in there, and I used to go in there. He had no price guides, so he would type up his own price guides.
He
And
still did that.
He never used a price guide. He would call it, instead of Overstreet, he would call it Overstupid. And he always had his own price guides.
Did you get along with him Back.
Yeah, I recognized him, and he told me, "Oh, I'm glad you found the place." He had famous monster books. He had all sorts of comics all over the place. It was really a nice, clean shop. And then, you just rifling through, and you could have a list, and he'd show you, "Here's my latest price list for this week," because every week it might change. Some things go up a little nickel or something like that. Very.
Price list would change every week?
Every week he would change it once in a while or something.
Incredible.
Yeah. But he had some really nice books, and I remember I always loved the Avengers. So I wanted an Avengers 1. And I said to him, "Do you have an Avengers 1? And he goes, "Yeah." And he pulled out his Avengers 1. And I said, "But do you have one in a little better condition?" So he brought one out. And it was like a VF at the time. And I paid $3.25 for that.
Wow.
It was the most I ever spent on a book in my life.
Wow.
And when I went home, I was telling my mom that I'd spent this much. Look, it's a #1. And she thought I'd spent too much money, and comic books weren't, it's just too much money. And I said, "But you know what? I don't know why, but I think comics are going to be worth a lot of money someday. I don't know when, but it's going to happen." And then I just kept my collection. And so a lot of my books that I bought from Nick were like a dime, 15 cents, very cheap.
Do you still have the Avengers 1?
Yes, I do have the Avengers 1.
How many
So-
comics do you have? Yeah.
Probably 3,000.
Huh. So that comic that you bought for $3 is worth about what now?
Oh, I would
Should bring out our guide
say,
here.
yeah, it could run maybe 3,500.
Wow.
Cool.
I think by today's standards on the
One
Overstreet
imagine,
guide.
yeah. What grade is it?
It's a VF
35
easy.
plus.
Is it?
Easy.
Cool.
You already said that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Pay
I wasn't-
attention,
wasn't
boy.
paying attention. Did you ever have any good shopping experiences at Jeffrey's like that? Because it sounds like you had some great times at Comic Con.
We went into Jeffrey's. I didn't know Jeffrey yet. And he had a lot of great books up there. He had a couple AF-15s. He had early Spideys. Jeffrey had a lot of the great early Marvels, early DCs. But you got to remember, that was before people were really starting to buy them as investments and collecting really big
I bought
time.
from Matt Bennett his collection of Marvel, and he had at that time he had every Marvel then from FF1 to wherever it was at that time. This would be like 25 years ago, right? He had X-Men 1 from everywhere, and I think I paid about 3,000, maybe 3,500 for them all. And it's like everything. Daredevil 1 up, everything 1 up. God, it's amazing. I would have been better off just selling them, just saving them now, because they're really the Marvel stuff has gone up tremendously.
Right.
That's some of like 100 times in what was probably about 25 years.
They are the classic literature of our era, I would say, if I must say so myself. Those are classics.
Yeah.
And they did a lot of stuff that was pretty adult, and I think that's why they became so popular. Is most of the stuff you collect. Is it mostly Marvel?
Can you ask him why he stopped collecting?
Oh, that's a good question.
Is your,
no,
is
I
your
have
voice
a-
going to be on the show when this comes? I
No,
like
no,
that.
that's
I like
his
it. It's like God telling us.
I want to ask it.
Go.
Okay. So how'd you finally kick the habit?
Well, I wasn't kicking the habit. My collection was getting so big, and I just thought this could
That's
go
what she
on
said.
and on and on, and it would just get bigger and bigger. And I just didn't want to, I just stopped collecting. And it's a shame because when I stopped collecting, here came X-Men Giant 1, Hulk 181, first Wolverine,
Yeah.
the 129 Spidey, Punisher. I mean,
The bronzy.
you didn't know all this was coming.
Yeah.
A lot of great stuff was still coming, and it was before Neil Adams, did the Green Lantern.
But you talk about them in the sense of value, but you don't talk about them always right in the middle of the Spider-Man story with Doc Ock or something.
No, it
like
wasn't
that.
like that. It's just that I was buying them, and like I said, Spider-Man was almost at 100.
Mm-hmm.
I might have been about 4 issues. I stopped 4 issues before 100. I just stopped because I didn't want to get the collection too big. That's all it was.
Cool. Well, I'm sure our wives would appreciate that sentiment. But my collection just keeps growing and growing.
Tell us what's your favorite book then of your collection?
I'd have to say Avengers 4 because I really like Captain America for what he stands, and I mean it's just a great superhero book. I mean,
And the comic worth the most money?
in my collection, it might be my FF2.
No, in my collection. Of course, it's in your collection. FF2.
I think my
In?
FF2,
Very fine.
very fine.
Those are the scrolls, right?
Yes.
Scrolls are a big deal now. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. You said it was like $3,500 for the #1 Avengers. So
No, but the number
is
two
more
FF
than-
is worth more.
Wow.
So if you stop,
Jeffrey's Comics just got it, #2.
Oh, that
So
looks
it was
cool.
kind of low condition.
You
All right, let's wrap it up, guys.
Okay. So, any other questions?
Maybe, well, I got a lot of questions, but maybe we should wrap it
Do
up.
you have a business we could plug
God
or
has
something?
spoken.
Do you-
No,
no. Are you retired?
No, I'm a contractor,
Oh, okay, cool. You do like building construction or?
consultant, graphic artist.
Oh, cool.
So every once in a while, you still
Wolverine's looking for work. so-
invest in a comic book that you see in the
If I see
catalogs and
something
things.
really old, you know, like any of the auctions, a golden age or silver age, I'll attempt to try to pick it out.
So you still do buy older books nowadays?
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, once you get that burning passion, I think, for comics, you know, never really truly goes away.
And all the true collectors, they remember the first comic, like people remember the first sexual experience. You know, it's indelibly imprinted.
What was better, your first
First
comic
sex-
or your first sexual experience?
Well,
Everybody's a
I was,
critic.
I was real young at that time.
Your first comic or your first sexual experience?
No, my first sexual experience, I was like 20, I think, or 21.
Did you pay for it?
Yeah, I did. It was $5 though.
That's a good deal.
Went down to Tijuana, and I've been telling people I had sex, but I really hadn't. But everybody would always say they had sex.
So you're like, I
told everybody
better
had
have sex.
But I said, I want to find out what this is really like. And since I didn't have a girlfriend or anything, I told people I was going down to Tijuana to get tuck and roll in my car. I had a really nice
What's a tuck and roll?
51 Plymouth. It's like upholstery, and you get a really good
Okay.
deal down there. But
But
then
instead you got to pull and tug on your...
I went into but this is like my first comic book, my Black Hawk #32. I remember I went into Mike's bar, and a woman come over, and she said, fucky, can I say this on TV? I guess it's late night, right? And she touched me in the groin right there. And I said, okay. I said, how much? And she said $10, and I said, I only have $5. I say, but I tried to say it in Spanish, and I know only have 5.
Cinco,
Cinco.
yeah.
So then I went back in the back, and it wasn't. You didn't even go to. Well, you went into a little room, and instead of a bed, it was like a cot, like a little cot like this. And she laid me down. That was such a great experience. This really warms my heart just to even think about it. And so we had sex, right? She said, "Did you come yet?" She said it in English and everything. And I said, "I don't think so, because I never had, before, and I never masturbated or anything." And then she said, so then she took off, she put a rubber on me, which she tried to charge $1 for it, but I didn't have that $1 either. And so she put it on anyway. So then she took it off, and she performed oral on me. I'm saying this. And she performed oral on me, and it felt pretty. It felt better than that. And then I was, and all of a sudden my eyes got big. I screamed like a woman. I screamed, don't stop, right? But I don't want to act it out or anything, because it was just like, you want to act?
Yeah.
Like, don't stop, like that. And I said, oh man, because everybody was always talking about sex, and they were always talking about how great it was, right?
It was like you're
But I
letting
never
off some great
experienced.
secret.
And then I said. So when we were having sex, and she said, "Did you do it?" It felt kind of good. I thought, well, no, but I didn't think that was right, because why would people talk about it like this? Because it would just, But then after I had that experience, that's what they're talking about.
Well, thanks for coming down today, Jen.
And it was
a great interview.
Thank you.
Thanks. Just kidding. Well, maybe we should. Anything else?
Would you like to talk about your first sexual experience?
No.
He's trying to get the show on a higher level, and I like that. He's a virgin. You're a virgin.
I'm a virgin.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. We're going to go to commercial.
We
will
might
be back.
We might come back
With a friend of mine.
if you're
who's
lucky.
a great talent.
And he's going to tell us about his first sexual experience. All right.
That's it, thank you.